Thank you guys for joining us. I see Annette, I see Shonda, Bob Asquari, always love you, Bob, Molly, and so this is great stuff. Mary, hi, Mary, I see you a lot. This is cool. Jody, nice to see you. And just so you know, we're going to be, I apologize, but we're going to be stopping your videos and we'll also be putting you on mute. But I want you guys to please move your mouse, go to the bottom section. Oh, there's Ellen DeWord. Hi, Ellen. Go to the bottom, you're going to see the green share button. Move over to the chat box if you wouldn't mind and click on it. And then what we can do is if you have any comments that you would like to share with us, you need to share it. So what I'd love to do is know where you are, your first name, and just where you're from. There's Janet Jakes. Hi, Janet. Good to see you. I'm Sarah Cooperman, and I'm the CEO of SCW Fitness Education. And we've got Carter Anderson here. He's helping with to manage us. We've got some great presenters with you today. Now we've got about 160 people that have registered. We will probably have about 40 to show up live. But so this is your webinar that you guys came live for. So be sure to ask us questions. We're here for you. And the other thing is people listen to this on podcast as well. And if there's any links you want to get, we try to put them in the recording. So we'll be recording the webinar. What we're going to talk about today is secrets to small business success. And running your own small business is challenging enough, and most, if not all of us, have had to rebuild our businesses. You know, amen to that. I'm right in there. We've had to rebuild our businesses, our classes, our clients after the pandemic. And so these wonderful ladies are going to share with us their information. We've got Diva. Yeah, Diva, wave your hand so we know who you are. She's got over 15 years of experience in entrepreneurship sector. She's the founder and president of Hard Work, No Excuses, which is a 10,000 square foot facility located in New Jersey. She's a former Pennsylvania State Golden Glove boxing champion. So I never get in it with Diva. And she's an American Open powerlifting champion. And she also has the Do Work Method motivational and life coaching program. She's the co-creator also of Warrior Combat. So I know if you see Ellen DeWord on here, she works with Ellen very closely. And Diva is just exceptional. I think, Diva, we met actually at an idea convention.
Was it? No, we met in Atlanta. I met you in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I met you. Yeah, we met in Atlanta. I want your shoes. You still haven't given me the shoes. It was those tennis shoes. Anyway, okay, we've got wonderful Jennifer Manavi, and she's the co-founder of Physique 57. What's so cool about this gym is she runs her own gym in New York, but she's franchised and she has 9 different facilities she works with. And what I want you to think about that is when you find a system that works, that's how you grow. Is you can expand. So she works with franchisees. So if anybody's interested, you contact Jennifer. And it's a boutique fitness facility and media company. And she's expanded the business to 4 countries with multiple digital platforms. And she's got clients and subscribers in all 50 states and over 120 countries. Very cool. She is the CEO of the company. She's responsible for top line and bottom line value creation. Love this. Now, I adore Amber Toole, okay? She's not only fun and funny, but what's interesting is she really specializes a lot in life coaching and nutrition. She's actually on the SCW faculty. But what I didn't know, she's got a bachelor's of science degree in physical education and health. She's 30 years of experience in the fitness industry. She owns her own small, successful facility. Okay, small may be reference to size, not finances. Just remember that, guys. She's the owner of the Training Tool Fitness Nutrition Studio in Ocala, Florida. So she does a lot of education, a lot of pro-fit mentoring, which is really cool. So Carter is taking the liberty of putting the links in the chat box, but we'll also put them in the recordings. So I'm just going to start. Jennifer, I'm going to start with you. Before we turn the camera on, Jennifer was explaining when you open a facility, how many members do you need and what can we do to attract new customers while maintaining the ones that have stuck with us. Okay, those loyal members.
So a long time ago, when we would open a studio, I had 4 in New York City pre-pandemic, and a long time ago, you used to be able to just send out an email to whoever you knew and say, I'm open. So it used to be really easy. And now with competition and even with ClassPass, which sort of gets in the way, it's really important to open a studio where you've pre-sold your memberships. Mm-hmm. And that is, even when we were opening studios, we've been around for about 17 years. We've only really started thinking about this more in the last 4 or 5 years. So opening a studio where you've sold a discounted, what's called founding membership, is really, really important. And depending on the size of your location, that will determine really how many you should sell. But in like the Philadelphia, New York, like the cities, the urban areas, I would say try, if you can, to sell about 100 of them. And they're definitely discounted. And sometimes a franchisee or a business owner will say, I don't really want to give away all my spots for that discounted price. But if you think about it, just getting people into your studio is a marketing tool, because then you're full. So not only are you potentially, and one rule of thumb is sometimes people say, try to sell as many as what your rent is, so that you're going in to with your new studio, covering your rent, which is probably at the time 20% of your revenue. So it's definitely something you need to think about. So, but the good thing is when you open, you actually have people already there. So don't worry if they're not paying you that much. It's actually a tool, because what I've seen and experienced is when you open a studio and there's no one there, then no one wants to come. So, I'd rather have people paying not much, but having it look full for a while, than ask people to pay a lot and have no one there.
I think that makes perfect sense. So what you're doing, I really like the algorithms you're using. You're saying you want to make sure you have enough memberships to make sure you cover that rent, whatever that rent is. It's going to be different for Amber. It's going to be different for Diva. It's going to be different for you, Jennifer. And so your price has to work accordingly. And you said 20%.
So usually rent, well, I mean, once you're full, you can get that down to about 12 to 15%, but your rent's going to be one of your biggest expenses. It's your salaries and your hourly direct costs. And then you have some G&A, and then the rest of it is rent. And in retail, you want rent to be between 15 and 20%. So you'll probably start out with it being 20%. And then hopefully once you're more full, it gets down to, like I said, like 12 to 15%.
Right. Exactly. Diva, you've been nodding, so please share.
It's funny she says that, because when I opened, I was 6 months behind. I was working with a company at that point who told me they knew how to help me start the launch, and they didn't. And I had a really good friend who she was like, Diva, you're doing this all wrong. And we had to restart. I lost the first 6 months of my business. I lost because I didn't have a good team at that time. And I still, to this day, I'm always 6 months behind. I still feel like I'm 6 months behind. I'm not letting it go. But so where she's speaking, I'm like, these are all the things I learned 6 months after I was open, when somebody came in and said, Diva, this person is just trying to hustle you and steal your money. This is what you need to do. So I agree with everything she said. I had to learn the hard way, but I agree with everything she said. 100%.
What I love hearing you say is, a lot of times we see successful people and they wander around. They're like, I'm just the queen and I've done everything right. And that is such a bunch of
crap.
Baloney. Yeah, thank you. I'll let you do the heavy lifting on that one. But it is. We've all made mistakes and we all feel like we're 6 months behind. So how did you dig yourself out of that? And I know you feel like you're still digging. We're always digging.
I had to really, when you talk about systems, we went on the membership hunt. I was like, oh, we behind, we got to go. So we went old school and new school. We're going to go through the malls and do the flyers until the cops come. And then we did tons of social media marketing. So we hit it from both angles. I mean, again, like we were talking about pre coming on, just being accessible, trying to be out, be seen, let everybody know, hey, I have this great building. And it was a slow start, but yeah, I learned a very valuable lesson.
And it's interesting, the physical. Like we all think, okay, social media, you vomit something out and the member, you build it and they will come. And that's what we think is going to happen.
Never.
But I got to tell you, like we've got DC Mania coming up, and until that brochure hits, the registrations tickle, tickle, tickle. They do like a physical postcard. They do like some type of on a flyer. What, Amber, what has worked for you when you're trying to, let's say, start a new program, because you've been in business quite some time here? But what works for you to draw people in? Do you use the social media? Do you use the physical print work?
Oh my goodness, we do everything possible. So absolutely social media. One thing that you have to remember is to draw people into your business. Number one, you have to be targeting the people who are your ideal client. So you have to talk to them in all of your social media posts, all of your emails. So I have an email list. I have social media everywhere possible. I do TikTok. I don't care that I look ridiculous. You have to be where your people are. And we do, I do some print work, not a whole lot, just because we are smaller. So we have a smaller budget as far as marketing goes. But Diva, as we were talking about before we got on, Diva was talking about doing things in the community. Anytime somebody needs something, that you can go and help educate people and promote your business, get out there. And because people need to like you, they need to know you, they need to like you, they need to trust you. So seeing you out in the community and you sharing your passion allows people to be able to know who you are and then where you're located, and then say, hey, I like her energy. I want to come see her. I want to come work out with her. So those things are very helpful for sure. And as far as new programming goes, a lot of times for us, that's some advertisement on Facebook. Google is huge. We put everything possible on our Google page. And of course, sending things out to our email list and asking our clients to share with their friends. Who do you know that would love to come in and do this program with you?
Yeah, that's great. That's really great. What's been your primary focus when building a targeted market and sales plan? Like Jennifer, what's your focus? I know you really emphasize your marketing. How do you do it, and what's working?
Yeah, I think we really, from like the top down, the most important thing, which is hard, is to figure out, and I think actually Amber was talking about this, is who is your ideal target? Because you really cannot market to everyone. So it's a little different now because a lot of people are not back at work, but I'll say what I do now and what I did before and what I do now, but I only marketed to 28-year-old investment banking females. Now, that might have just been a small percent of who came, but that was in my mind, it was just that person. 28 years old, I still think is the best age. And for so many reasons, female, just because I'm in the bar business, and made about $100,000 or more. And that was it. That was like all I cared about all day, all night. It's just that one person. And then of course, so many other people come, but you need to pick a person to market to. Now, interestingly enough, women are more in the city downtown, I'm in Soho, New York, are more in media, or the different businesses have become more popular than now. Women, I don't think, want to be investment bankers. So now it's a different woman. But when we do our surveys and we have phone calls with clients and we get to know them, we learn that they are very much in like media or sort of just popular, fast growing industries. And they have disposable income. A lot of our clients do not have children, interestingly enough. So I don't do any mommy stuff. Like if you have a baby, you're probably not going to come that much because you're really busy. So it's before you have babies, it's after you have babies. So 28 to 33, and then we definitely focus a lot on 40 and up. Now, in marketing, it's hard to necessarily find all those groups, but like we're definitely in the community, but I don't like if we're invited to like preschool mommy thing, like I just know that's going to be a fail.
Yeah, and you in New York City, so you've got to
In New York
look.
City.
What I find interesting, Jennifer, is you talk about you've got to figure out your avatar. You've got to figure out who your client is, and then how do you do that? There's a great program called Survey Monkey. Find out who's coming to your facility. What is their age? What is their income, socioeconomic level, demographic? You know, do they have kids? Are they married? Is that going to be the perfect target? Now I'm going to, Diva, I think, you know, being in New Jersey, I'm not sure, do you focus on an avatar or are you spreading out a little bit more to expand your demographic?
We definitely have a demographic. What I thought it was 5 years ago, I thought my demographic was more like me, and they are not. So again, learning lessons, I realized that my demographic is actually 30 to 55, weekend warrior athlete types. I do have a strong kid component. And by kid, I mean 14 to 21, but they're all young athletes. So that's kind of our thing. Everybody here is pretty much an athlete of some sort, either intensely or recreationally. So a lot of the program is derived in that way, but it took me a while to get to that point. I thought it was something else. It was not. It was definitely not.
That's so interesting because a lot of us are like, this is my passion. I want to do this. And I'm like, you know what? It's a business, man. You got to figure this out.
Yeah.
So when you figured that out, did you dive head in or did you try to expand it?
We went head in. We changed the marketing because the marketing beginning, it was too young. It was just too young. I live in the suburbs. Everybody out here is either after kids, like kids are in college or kids are like kind of still in school. So just where they are, the marketing was too young. It didn't speak to them. So we went in and changed it and used more of them in the marketing and great pictures of them. And it really switched everything around.
And I think, Jennifer, you talked about something similar like that, really focusing on those photos, on that marketing. And does that work for you?
Yeah, it's hard because we have a big discussion about should we be smiling or not, because it's really hard. You know, exercise is hard. So really, we're not at the bar or like with most exercise, like you're not really smiling the whole time. And you could be having fun for sure. You're not necessarily like cheerleader looking the whole time. So we did one photo shoot once where everyone was very smiley and we were trying to be very approachable. And our clients were like, I do not look like that when I'm in class. So then we did one where we're much more serious. But then the downside there is some people could then think you're unapproachable because you're too serious. So it is a constant. We are constantly trying to figure out, you want to be approachable, but you also want to represent the brand. So we actually right now for franchising, we did a whole photo shoot that was very smiley because we were doing Midwest and it was super cute, smiley, smiley, smiley. And I don't know now, that's one of the reasons why we're doing a photo shoot in February, because I'm like, people aren't smiling that much in our classes. It was super cute, but I think we're going to go back to kind of our edgy look. Like we used to have, and there's also body positivity is a big issue now, and there's inclusivity. So you can't really use the same tagline. So there are taglines we've used.
I'm sitting here and I'm looking for something. There was a very popular, extremely successful Equinox did this for January 1 for their launch. And it was a hashtag and they said hashtag, it's not about January, it's about life. So there's like, don't come if you're just coming because it's January and you've decided you have a New Year's resolution. This is the lifestyle. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty aggressive. Boom, it really worked. That's a very high-end demographic. And Planet Fitness did something very edgy as well with their January launch, which I encourage you to YouTube and check it out. But it's hard to decide, are they going to smile? Are we not going to smile? Change it up and try. Amber, what's worked for you?
So I absolutely have a comment about this. My clients, first off, in the waiver, we have a sentence that says you will be filmed and you will be photographed and we will use it in our marketing. So I tell all of our clients, we have, people who personal train with us, and then we also have students that come and take class. I want you in our pictures because we are not a bunch of 20-year-olds with our shirts off and a little sports bra with our little baby pink weights, laughing and like barely doing anything. I'm like, I want people to see you because you are really who we're speaking to. And I cannot tell you how many clients we have gotten because they've been scrolling through social media and they said, oh, I saw my friend comes to your studio. Oh my gosh, I saw so-and-so. They love to see their friends there. And they say, I knew then that you could train me because you trained my friend and we're alike. And so that is very important that they see their peers in our marketing. So I absolutely use that.
And you brought up something, very important, social media. What works for you? Facebook, Instagram. You said you even do TikTok, which I am so going to watch you. But
I think I'm hilarious.
Amber?
So I have found, interestingly enough, that my demographic is pretty much over 40 females. That's the majority of who we work with at my studio. A lot of them in Instagram, surprisingly, but I've also noticed that Reels are doing really well in Instagram. So I've been doing, and I don't mind being on camera, so I film a lot, but Facebook does still work for us because that older demographic is on Facebook, but I do get a lot of people from Instagram as well. And then Google, because people Google everything. So, our Google page is up to date. I post new pictures every single week, and I always post something new so that when people are looking for us, we pop up on their Google.
You pop right up on there. That's interesting. What works for you, Diva, on social media?
On social, we did similar thing. All our pictures, our instructors take our content. So I don't even pay anybody to come in. So you may be in the middle of class, an instructor whips out their phone, takes a video, takes pictures. Everybody puts it in the Dropbox. I send it to the team in LA, and then they curate it and tell the story and put whatever music over it. They do the rest. But I make sure they take good, clean pictures, real in the moment pictures and videos that really help, drive who we are as a fitness facility.
Very nice. And what social media tends to work for you, Jennifer?
Diva, I love that idea, by the way, of having your teachers take pictures. So we use everything because we also have half of our business is the video on demand business. So our Instagram is really kind of mostly for that, but also for the studios, and each studio has its own Instagram. But we do a lot of Instagram, and I agree with Amber, the Reels have been doing really well. We're on TikTok as well. Facebook for our on-demand community, Facebook is definitely key. And we have like a private Facebook family.
Yeah, so and Reels, you brought up Reels.
Yeah, Reels are doing really
well. Love
well.
Videos.
Yes. So I would say it's kind of, unfortunately, you have to be everywhere, which I do think I agree. You do have to find your clients, and we just sort of find different ones are on different platforms. So even older people are on TikTok now. So that used to, I think, be more younger people, but now we're finding that even 15 up is doing well on TikTok. So it's sort of everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Whenever they see their kids or their grandkids, they're going on because they want to be involved. And that's the only way that they can do it.
Someone just said, comment, do I need to be on social media? And yes, you do. And I don't do social media, but for someone who just asked, I can't imagine how you would start a business without being on social media.
Now we got a very interesting question from, it's Kay Berry, so I'm not quite sure. I'm so resistant to do social media. Is it hopeless to grow my business? And I think, Jennifer, you just basically answered it. And so did you, Diva. Get other people in your facility to take the pictures and post them. Little pictures, little videos.
Yeah.
People love, and they will volunteer to do this for you for free. I mean, and they're still paying clients. You don't have to say, okay, here's a free membership, do this.
Right.
You know, they'll do it for you because they love to be seen, and they love to encourage, and they love you, and they support you. So I like big singing. I don't want to do a lot of social media. So Robin, Manis, who does our social media, she has to bug me and say, Sarah, take a picture. Sarah, put a video up. And I'm like, oh, does that mean I got to put lipstick on? Would you, shoot me now? But you can get other people to do this. Amber, how do you know when it's time to shift your product or service focus? It's hard to decide that, because if something's working, it's like we want to use it forever. But it's kind of like the Gap. They got to get rid of the design at some point and start a new fad, start something new.
So I have a great answer to this. Like you said, first off, if it's working, do not get rid of it. And sometimes I feel like, especially, and again, I will say, I am a smaller studio. Okay. So a little bit of success is still success. So if I have a small group who is coming through and doing a program, I still have a small group. It's still working. It's reaching out. One thing that I have learned to do so as not to wear myself out as a business owner is we run a lot of the same programs year after year. We might just change the branding up a little bit, maybe change the name. But a lot of the things that people want to do, it's the same every year. Think about it. In January, people are always starting back over. So I either do some type of a nutrition focus, 7-day reset, or we call it a sugar detox, to get the sugar out of your system. Those things do well every year. And then our programming, we do a strength programming for 6 weeks. Our clients love that. And that's also a chance for us to pull new people in. Now, we changed some things. Our Fit Camp every summer does amazing.
And
but
is that,
challenges.
You mentioned, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just want to know, you mentioned 6 weeks. You like that 6-week mark. It's not like a month. It's not like 12 weeks. It's a 6-week. It works.
I find really 28 days is really great because people don't think that's too long, but with the strength portion, we have to go a little bit longer. But I will say that you asked, how do you know when to change things up? Challenges used to do really well. We used to do a 28-day challenge workout nutrition program. We would get a ton of people for that. And then our numbers started going way down. And I realized people don't like the word challenge, and it just wasn't popular anymore. So I just switched it up and I did a whole new branding with it and just kind of changed some things and changed the name. Boom, we started getting people coming back again. So sometimes it's just tweaking what you already have.
And what did you change it to? I'm sure the people on this call are interested.
So we axed challenge because that sounded way too hard for people. And my new one right now is the 28-day fit and trim accelerator.
Whatever works, right? And Diva, you're nodding. You nodded at the 6-week mark and the 28. And do you do these type of programs? Are they working?
They do work. They do work. And it's funny because I agree with you. Usually anything over 6 weeks is too long. Like, people are just over it. And they like to challenge themselves, but not feel like they're necessarily competing with other people. So it's about the challenge, or whatever you create is super individual to them. They feel like it's individual to them and they're not competing against the world. So yeah, I'm nodding. Whenever I'm nodding, I'm like, yup, you right. So Amber, you right. I hear you.
And what do you call your programs? Do you have a special name, and is there a system that you use for that?
Well, one of the things we have, we do a class challenge here. We do that twice a year, where the members, whoever gets the most classes in 30 days, and they're allowed to bring a friend. And if they bring a friend, that's considered extra classes for them, so they can win. And then we do a 6-week transformation challenge. That one we just started this year. So
and it's worked well. 6-week transformation.
6 weeks is good. Longer than 6 weeks, people kind of lose interest.
Yeah.
Okay. They need 8 weeks, but 6 weeks is the sweet spot.
Yeah. Jennifer, you were nodding.
Yeah, we just did a 3 month. So I think so much of this is local and based on your clientele. We did a challenge for 3 months, but we had different divisions of it. So you could either take 2 classes a week, or it was 3 or 4, and then we had different names for it, like the Power Pulser or the Goal Setter. So you signed up for whatever you thought was right for you, and some of them were a Strength Seeker. That just meant I think that was only like once or twice a week. We were just trying to say, like, get in the habit of coming once or twice a week. But some other people came like every single day. So there's, with all of us, we have active users and less active users, but we still wanted to reward and include someone who just comes once a week, because also in the city, people are still working from home. So you might only be in Soho once a week anyway. So we didn't, a lot of people are coming either because it's residential or commercial. So we kind of did it for both.
How do we promote it to them? Like, I know that all students love their instructor. I will do whatever my instructor says, right? My students will follow me and do whatever. If I put a bag over my head, they put a bag over their head. So do your instructors promote the programs to get people to sign up? How does that work for you, Jennifer?
I think, again, that's very local. Our instructors definitely promote, but that would not be the main source of our clientele. And our teachers are amazing. Our average length of service is actually 7 years. So our teachers have been with us for so long, and they definitely have a strong following. And so probably some people come from the instructors for sure, but because we've been around for a while, we have a pretty nice mailing list. So it's probably a mix of that and a mix of just our own marketing. But the instructors you're 100% right, like, adored. And if they encourage people more in person, I would say, if they said, "Oh, are you doing the challenge?" that might be more impactful than like a social post.
And Diva, what works for you guys?
We have the instructors help promote. It's just, and that depends on your club. Like, our club is so intimate. Like, it's big, but it's not big, but it's small. So everybody's so it's like, "Oh, are you doing a challenge? Have you signed up for it?" So we do that, and we have a board. So whatever we do here, if we run a challenge, there's a board. So everybody can see where everybody is for those type of challenges. And we do social media postings on all the platforms where we feel like putting stuff, all 1 million of them.
But it's nice to do the posting, the physical posting in the gym, because people feel recognized and they feel part of the facility. Amber, how are you handling that?
So we do some advertisement and definitely try to get our clients to spread the word. I'm like Diva too. We actually have a huge whiteboard, and we write all of the announcements up there. I send out emails, we send out texts, we tell them in class. I laugh because thank God I was a teacher first, because you just repeat, because people will say, "Oh, are we doing something?" We offer so many things. So it's really great to help them know and to send things. I've learned less is more. So just bullet point it, highlight it, put those posts up. And we have a private Facebook group we call our members our tribe. So we post in there as well. So we spread the word, and my instructors are really great about reaching out and telling everybody and getting people on board.
And you're absolutely right. People don't read. They want bullet points. Do you know in schools, they stopped teaching the kids how to do script, because so many people are typing and so many things are abbreviated and short. So that's very helpful. That's very helpful. What are some resources you leverage to maintain or start your own business? Like, Diva, how did you start your own business?
Ooh, you mean like the money part, the building part, the which part? It's a lot of parts. Where do you want to start?
Maybe girl pick.
All right. So, from conception, it was just trying to find an idea that I thought was different than everybody else's that would be unique to the area. My facility is in a very competitive space. There's Orange Theory, Lifetime. Like, I probably in a 5-mile radius have close to 20 clubs around me. So I'm in a space where I had to figure out what I was going to offer that would make me stand out and separate me from everybody else. So I created a hybrid business model, which is kind of, I always say we have big club amenities, but a small club community feel. There was nothing like that around here. So that's what I use to kind of drive home my focus.
Now, Jennifer, Physique 57 is in, like New York City, Soho. Okay. Definitely different feel, but you're all over the world. I mean, and you're all over the USA. I think you said even Indiana, right?
This is a coincidence. We're in India and Indianapolis, which
yeah.
I don't know how many businesses are in those two very different.
So, it being a franchise, the beauty, I'm a big fan of franchises just because it's like a cookie cutter. You get some advice. Yes, you can deviate it, you get more into it, but so it's the learning curve. Somebody else has already made the mistakes, and it costs, but it also saves in the long run. So how do you encourage people to start their own facility?
I actually start by not encouraging them to start their own facility. I think that, like, when we're selling a franchise, we're definitely not trying to convince someone to start their own business, because you need to like want to do that well before you met me. So usually when we're talking with people, they're looking at a bunch of different brands. Like, they've already decided a while ago they want to be a business owner, and then they're thinking about which ones to go into. But convincing someone, and that's always a bad phone call when someone's like, well, I really like my job, but I'm like, just call me later. Like, so no, like, you don't know what it's like cleaning a toilet at 2:00 in the morning because your client's getting sick. Like, no way. And that's actually my scare tactic. Whenever I do meet someone, I tell them how many toilets I've cleaned. And then, because they think it's so fancy, like, oh, you have all these studios. Like, we have plungers everywhere. Like, we have toilet problems all the time. So, and I know that's sort of sounds like a very random thing to say. What I'm trying to say is that when you run a business, there are some really, really difficult things you have to do. And I really emphasize that. When we have these big franchise interviews, we talk about all the hard stuff. We don't talk about, it's so fun to do a podcast or something like that. Like, that's way down the line. So I definitely try to scare people out of starting a business before I would try to convince them. However, if someone has decided they want to start a business, you have to think about the money. You have to think about the opportunity cost of starting your own business, because you could be making money doing something else. So it's just like Diva was saying, there's the financial part. There's so many different parts to it. But one thing that I think is important, especially if you're a trainer and you're thinking about starting your own business, just make sure you have a lot of clients already. So before we started Physique 57, we taught in the basement of a ballet studio, and I had a cash box and a boom box, and that was it. So when we started, we already had these clients that were willing to show up. So if you're doing personal training or a group exercise somewhere, that's really, believe it or not, you've already started a business. So that is your business. So what you're talking about is putting 4 walls around it and putting your name on it with an address. So I would just keep building up your clientele if you're a personal trainer already. Right. And my co-founder is Tanya Becker, who was a Lottie Burke instructor for a very long time. So she's the exercise person and I was the business person. But when we opened, it was her clients from prior. So we even had a fun class on Monday, and one of her clients from 1993 was in that class. So these are clients well before we opened Physique 57.
That's interesting. And we've got, there was a question, if I'm starting my own business from scratch, where do I start? And you said it, you start it in your basement. I started SCW Fitness. I was in law school and I was getting fat. So I started teaching aerobics. I'd been teaching in college, and I started teaching in the basement of the Lit building, the literature building, which was right next to the law school. And then one of my students was a teacher, one of the professors, and she said, oh, I can get you in this hall. And we moved into this hall. It was gorgeous, but it was a marble floor. You tried doing aerobics in old Reeboks, those thin, with a boom box. I don't even think I had a cash box. I think I was probably shoving it in my bra. Okay, $3 a class, 50 people in the class, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I was making $450 a week cash. And this was 40 years ago, or actually a little bit more. That's kind of scary. And you start and it evolves and it grows. It's pretty interesting. All right, guys. I want to show you a video, but I'm going to come back and while you're watching this video, it's like 30 seconds, so you don't have that much time. I want to know your biggest recommendation. What's your secret to small business success? All right, so I'm going to start here. I'm going to show you right now. This is our DC Mania convention that we've got coming up February 24th through 26th. We're also going to be launching California Mania just probably next week. But this is really great. You get CECs, you get 30 classes. We've got 50 presenters. We're recording 100 different videos going on here. Here's a little video showing the conference. Pretty cool, eh? All right, guys. So I'm going to start with you, Jennifer. What's your number one secret to your small business success?
I have a prop. I actually have something to show you.
Good, so show it.
It is, you can't really see because of my background. It's a calculator. So I love my calculator, and it's knowing your numbers. Cash is king, and you just need to know and not forever in your business, because maybe you have an accountant or some other people that help you. But when you're starting, you have to know every dollar that's coming in and coming out,
coming in and coming out. Love it. And Amber?
Okay, I'm going to say, have a big dream and speak it. Put it out there. Tell everybody you know. And while you're doing that, I'm with Jennifer. Know your numbers, get organized, have spreadsheets for everything, get your systems in place, because systems are going to help you to be successful.
Love it. And Diva?
I'm going to say resilience and adaptability. Because even with having your numbers and learning all that, if you're soft and you're a snowflake, you ain't going to make it. Starting a business is not for the faint of heart in any capacity. So if you want to start a business, be very sure you got to be a real one, because it is going to test you like nothing you've ever experienced in your life.
You know what? I hear you. I hear all three of you. I'm going to just share with you. While I was playing the video, the dog came over, knocked over my mouse. I'm crawling on the floor. I'm shoving in the battery, hoping I'll be able to get the screen off. It doesn't get easier. So you better darn well love what you do. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Thank you all for coming, and thank you, Carter, for running this webinar. You guys have a great night. I hope to see you at a Mania this year. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.